First of all, I want to welcome our leaders here and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. It's very, very encouraging to hear us all talk about jobs and the workforce, because in our committee, we had spirited conversations. And first of all, we do also want to applaud the Governor's Workforce Board for its biennial plan. And as a matter of fact, we feel very strongly that that plan should be the foundation of everything that we're looking at when it relates to workforce development. We do hope that as they continue, and I am a member of that board, that we also look at measurable outcomes from that plan. We've got some great ideas. We think that they have the opportunity to be our coordinator as it relates to workforce, but we would like to see perhaps that there's more measurable outcomes on that plan. There's also was a concern as we went through that there's so much information out there that most of the business community doesn't know about. So we find that one of our recommendations is a comprehensive marketing plan that would work not just with traditional outlets like chambers of commerce and trade associations and government to get the word out there, but perhaps it's time, as we look at where we make investments, is it time to make an investment in a marketing plan to the business community at large, which would also include taking a look at a very antiquated social media policy that apparently the state has that doesn't allow state employees to use social media, which is probably like the 1980s thing. I guess maybe we're afraid they're going to go shopping on Amazon or something. But, it's time to really take a look at this policy and let, in fact, our state employees use the social media tools to reach out to the business community. We're certainly encouraged by, and we've heard from a couple of folks here today, that there is a workforce readiness credential program that should be adopted. And Madam President, I think it starts to address your need too, because if we have this workforce readiness credential and we start it as a K program all the way through, then we get maybe less of that finger pointing back and forth. Also, I learned a new term today from my good friend and colleague Janet Raymond from the Providence Chamber of Commerce, who was at a meeting earlier. We said we no longer want to talk about soft skills, because that's too weak. What we really want to talk about with this workforce credential is the essential skills that are needed for our future employees. We think we have to take a look at CCRI and its mission, that perhaps one of the challenges may be is that we're asking CCRI to be too many things to too many people, and in essence, perhaps they don't end up doing anything as well as they could. Two other points real quick. There seems to be, and we understand Representative McNamara has a bill, and we want to thank Representative McNamara and Representative Morgan and also Policy Chief Marie Gannon for being in our session and participating. We have this archaic thing as it relates to credentials. For example, if you were trained to be a pipe fitter in the military, it doesn't count if you want to be a pipe fitter in Rhode Island, which doesn't make a lot of sense. Or also if you have credentials from other vocational schools outside of Rhode Island, that a lot of times you almost have to go through a dissertation, like you were going for a doctorate in order to be credentialed in this state. We think that has to change. And finally, one of the more interesting points is, do we start, now this is going to kind of sound funky, but there's a great book out there that we heard about called The Job War by Jim Clifton, who runs the Gallup organization. And we understand that it's not a 50,000-foot type of book, but it's really a book that is like real easy to read, and we get it. And the suggestion was made that we all buy it, that 265 people go out and buy this book and read it, and maybe we can kind of get back together at one point. So again, in summary, we do think that the Governor's Workforce Board is a good platform for us to work on as it relates to workforce development and education. And I'm going to leave career and technical education to my good friend Gary Azowski. I think he'll be talking about that as part of his. But again, there is a lot of positive things going, and our attitude was, much like we've heard here about the optimism, we got a good plan, and how do we make it better? Thank you.